Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. So today we're playing a deck that I lost to today on DuelingBook, and I was tilted enough that I went home and I made it. I'm talking about the redundant and resilient version of everybody's favorite Crystal Wings spammers and discount waifus, WindWitch SPEEDROID. So here's the deck. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of nonsense going on here. As always, I'll give you a little bit of background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and as always, the card by card. So first, for those of you who don't know, this deck is an amalgam of two different deck types, WindWitch and Speedroid. WindWitch are a series of spellcaster-type monsters and a relatively small archetype that has almost exclusively playable cards. They flourish by using their best card, Ice Bell, in order to special summon itself in a similar way to Terror Top, add a copy of Glass Bell, add a Snow Bell, and then synchro into a level 7 monster followed by a level 8 monster that can't be destroyed by battle. You may recognize that number 8 as the exact number of stars on ye old Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Speedroid is an archetype soiled by 10,000 copies of Terror Top currently going into Invoker, but in their own right, they're actually a pretty spammable Machine Clan and Synchro engine. Summoning Terror Top makes 7 stars very easily, and since all the Roids are wind, we can still use Snowbell to our advantage. The deck is designed to summon Crystal Wing early and often. While the WindWitch engine has routinely had problems with, drawing the wrong one and banishing my one Snowbell to Desires, the Speedroid engine supplements them so that even if we brick into the wrong copy, we can still put any of the witches to use. We're also taking advantage of the fact that the WWs don't actually lock you out of summoning anything else, just anything that isn't wind, by playing almost exclusively wind-type monsters. Ketemborg also does what he was printed to do in this deck, by getting a 1 or 3 star tuner and filling up our grave. Even in worst-case brick scenarios, we can probably get a Clearwing Synchro Dragon out, which is occasionally good enough. The remainder of the deck is just cards to make the Synchro summons hotter, rebuild your board, and, do solemn stuff. So, on to the card by card. First are our witches. We have 3 copies of Glass Bell, which adds a Wind Witch to hand when she's normaled or specialed, and unfortunately restricts you to specialing wind monsters for the rest of the turn. Next is the Good Wind Witch, 3 copies of Ice Bell. This specials from hand if you have no monsters, then specials a Wind Witch from deck. When she's normaled or specialed, you get to do 500 to your opponent, keep that in mind. After that is 3 of the one that people usually play one of, Snowbell, who specials herself, itself maybe? I don't know. If you have 2 wind guys, if you make a synchro with her, then that monster can't be killed by card effects. After that is 3 copies of Speedroid Terror Top, which goes nicely with our 3 Speedroid to Ketemborg. Who knew the secret to not bricking with this card was just to play 3 of them? This guy actually has a second effect. You can tribute him to fetch a tuner from deck. After that are said tuners, 2 red-eyed dice, who can make a Speedroid any level from 1 to 6, and 1 tri-eyed dice, who can negate an attack from grave. Next is 2 copies of Bamboo Horse Stilts, probably the dumbest card I've ever seen. This lets you special a 4 or lower Speedroid when he is normaled, as well as banish 2 Foolish Burial. 2 Duke, who can banish himself to special a tuner from your hand or grave, and 1 Speedroid Fidget Spinner, double Yo-Yo, who specials a level 3 or lower Speedroid from grave. Finally, we have 3 Gusto Pilica, who specials a wind monster from grave when she's normaled, and 1 Maximum Cenis. For spells, we have 3 Speedroid Monster Reborn to extend plays and rebuild. You can also banish it to add a Roid back to your hand. 1 Foolish for sweet setups with Pilica and the like. 1 1-for-1, 2 Twin Twister, 2 Pot of Desires, 1 Raigeki, and the Solemn Trio. In the extra, we have Mistworm as our 9-star wind monster. 2 Crystal Wings so we don't run out. 1 Stardust if we can't make Crystal Wing somehow. 1 Clearwing Fast Dragon, the Speedroid Synchro Tribal. 1 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon's little brother Clearwing Synchro. 1 Black Rose, 2 Windwitch Ice Bell, our tag up of choice. 1 Freeze, which I hope to steal a win with. 1 Kendama, 1 Chembara, and 1 Hagoida. Finally, we have 1 Totem Bird and 1 Nightmare Shark to cheese out wins. With that, let us head into the games. Our first match is up against Cubic, a deck that I think every Yu-Gi tuber but me seems to really like for some reason. We've opened quite well, but unfortunately we are going second, and if I know anything about Cubic, it's that it can butt blast you into infinity before you even have a chance to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Hopefully that won't happen this game. He's going to go ahead and send a Cubic Karma off of this Foolish Burial with belongings, then banish it for the good Cubic, special summon it, do 3,000 to the pair of us, and set 1. Now, provided that isn't a Solemn, I should be able to kill him from this position. Let's go ahead and special summon our Speedroid Terror Top in order to get it to Ketemborg, special the the Tekenenborg, get a Snowbell off of our Glass Bell, special the Snowbell, use Tekenenborg's effect for red-eyed dice, call 6, targeting our Terror Top, go into Winterbell, and into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Now, the Synchro Dragon's looking a little bit lonely, so we will Monster Reborn, our Speedroid Terror Top, and then go into his little child, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. So now that we have both the Synchro Dragon boys out, let's get in. We'll do 3,000 over this 3,000 attack monster, and don't ever talk to me or my son ever again. Our second match is up against Zoodiac, and considering this deck is about 100% of the meta right now, it's good that we only hit it once. Our opponent has basically everything they want, and they are going first, which is frustrating for us. We do have a Twin Twister and a Regeki, which is very good against the set 4 kind of style of Zoodiac build, which it looks like our opponent is playing. They're going to start off with a tanky in order to get a Rat Pier, use the Rat Pier to go into Wild Bow, sending Ram to grave, then use Wild Bow in order to get another Rat Pier, special a Bullhorn, use Bullhorn to go into another Viper, instant fusion into a Norden, and God, I never thought there would be a time when I was happy that it was only instant fusion that was getting out Norden and not polymerization itself. He'll end with a Dryden and 2 set cards. I think you're supposed to go a little more explosive than that. We have options. We'll start with a Pot of Desires, which unfortunately will banish a lot of good stuff from our deck, including 2 copies of Glass Bell. This means this is the only remaining copy in our deck. We're going to Twin Twist these 2, but unfortunately because we discard Tri-Eyed dice, he knows to call Synchro, and we'll have to put our plans on hold for a turn. We will Regeki and normal summon our Glass Bell because I have plans for the Ice Bell that is now in our hand. Hit for 15, set this Twin Twisters and end our turn. Seems strong enough. He draws into a Solemn Strike, which is quite good for him. He draws into a second Solemn Strike off of the Thoroughblade and beats over with a copy of Hammer Kong, then goes into Tigress in order to attach a copy of Viper, goes into Leica in order to get a Ram from Graveyard, and ends with a Trident. He's going to set these 2. I do not Twin Twist on his turn because I want these 3 cards in my hand. Discarding this Duke is also way better, so we'll go ahead and use Ice Bell to get a copy of Snowbell, then do 500, special summon the Tri-Eyed dice with a Denko, go into Kendama, and then go into Clearing Fast Dragon. The idea here is we're going to use Fast Dragon's effect to negate the effect of Trident, which we do. He changed Trident's effect, but thankfully because we synchroed it using Snowbell, it cannot be destroyed. Afterwards, we're allowed to use Speed Recovery to get our Kendama back. We attack over for 2,500 and then 200 points of piercing after he realizes effects are negated, and he concedes. Our third match is up against Zark Magicians, and this is what I like to call a spaghetti game, because we just spaghetti everywhere this game, and so does our opponent. We've opened pretty poorly. We can't really make anything with this hand, and for the 3rd time in 3 games, we are on the draw. So our opponent's going to go first, use Dark Worm to get a copy of Gate 0, and then set Scales. I figure I might as well maxi, just belabor their plans for 1 additional turn. They'll end their turn afterwards. I'm going to normal summon this Pilica because we still can't make Crystal Wing. We'll special this to Tekenenborg to get Tri-Eyed dice, special Snowbell, at least go into a Clear Wing Synchro Dragon after doing 500 with Kendama, and then attacking over for 700. I mean, it's not ideal, but at the very least, this can't be destroyed by anything but battle, so I'm feeling okay. He's going to Pendulum Summon 4 cards, which is, just a little bit of a beating. I'll take a little bit of damage from this Toon Magician, and he gets another 0 to his hand. Afterwards, he's going to go into Ignister, and I figure this is basically exactly what I expect bait to look like, but I have to do it. So I'll negate it, and immediately he Dragon's Mirrors into Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and attacks over for 2,800 points of damage. God, I wish this attack boost sticked around so that I could kill him with Freeze, but you can't always get what you want. We're going to normal summon this Pilica in order to get back a copy of Snowbell along with this Speed Recovery. That allows us to go into a Freeze, followed immediately by a copy of Clearing Fast Dragon. And at the very least, this should give us some form of interaction on our opponent's turn. It was very lucky that we were able to Regeki away this Starving Venom Fusion Dragon so he didn't destroy anything of ours. He gets Pendulum Graph of Ages and gets 0 and a bunch of goons. I try to negate Zero's effect, but I can't really do that, so I have to negate Violet Poison Magician. That's spaghetti noodle number 1. He's then going to go into Clear Wing Synchro Dragon and set this Odd-Eyed Fusion, which I know he has. I'll use Recovery to get Tri-Eyed dice back to my hand and immediately get rid of it to get a Snowbell from my deck. That allows me to negate the effect of Poison Magician and then go into Clear Wing Synchro Dragon that is now immune to card effects. I will use Pilica to get back Speedroid Tri dice and go into Totem Bird, thinking that I can use this to negate the Odd Eyes Fusion that I know he has. I'll attack over this copy of Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, doing 3,000, and over his Ignister as well, or whatever this card's named. He's going to, during battle phase, attack my Totem Bird, so this dies. Important spaghetti noodle number 2. I could have just forgotten about this since he targets the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Instead, I negate it. It goes from the extra deck to the graveyard and triggers again, at which point I realize that I'm under Snowbell. He activates Odd Eyes Fusion and I negate it. Unfortunately, this means he is going to resolve the other Odd Eyes Fusion that he did not draw. If I still had my negate up, I could negate this thing's effect, but I don't, so it will go back to my hand, and I have no way to destroy this. But I still have one trick up my sleeve. This Ice Bell can do 500 damage to my opponent if I have no monsters on my side of the field. So I'll attack, and he'll negate it, but it's not over yet. I still have one more possible out. Kendama special summons itself and does 500 for game. So we're back with the deck. Whew. That last anime-ass duel has me winded. This deck is actually very good. It has a lot of play to it. It's pretty consistently beating meta threats. And all of these things make it even more unfortunate that it is not long for this world. As I'm sure you know, this deck probably does not have a very good time under Link Summoning, and more importantly, Terror Top, which is one of the most important cards in our deck, is target number 1 for the upcoming ban list, which is slated to mirror the OCG's Zoodiac treatment and slaughter the deck by killing its engines. That, I think, is the most compelling reason why you should get your rotations in with this deck while you can. Love it, cherish it, and remember it fondly come July. So that's that. I hope you're okay that I ended on a bit of a somber note. Just remember that this is only a children's card game. If you want to see me play the decks that I make on this show on stream, I'm on twitch.tv/monobluetron every Monday and Wednesday from 10 to noon Eastern Standard Time. Link is in the description. Additionally, if you want to see me play a certain deck or archetype on a future episode of this show, let me know in the comments section below, and I will do my best to accommodate you. Otherwise, I'll see you Sunday.